So here we are, just taking a look today at some analysis on running form. So all you posture geeks on board, running form specialists, etc. If you've got any comments, I'd love to hear it. There are lots of different opinions, lots of different thoughts around good running form. And to everyone else, I hope you find this video useful. And if so, yeah, let me know. Right. So we're going to take a look. We've got a side-on view to start with. So I'm going to cover what I think are some of the positive points here. So we'll start off with the takeoff on the back leg here. Zoom in. So first thing which I think is kind of good, if we use this kind of point on the horizon here where the roof meets. So one thing I think is good is that I'm getting a little bit of height as I come up. So the reason I think this is good is because, first off, it allows a longer stride. And on some of my longer runs especially, I find myself hitting objects on the ground a lot, especially later on in the race as my feet are getting tired, and on some of the more technical terrain. About the 50th time you kick a large rock, it really starts to hurt and gets a bit frustrating. So this can be an important part of technique. What it also does is it allows the leg to swing through better and create a little bit more energy when you landed and propel you forward more onto the next one. So undoing that, so let's go back to here. So right, what I'm also fairly chuffed with is from the back leg here. Let's use that one. So here we've got a really good kind of stretched line there. So we're kind of like loading this elastic band here, and as we come forward we can release that elastic band to propel us forward to create more energy. Okay, I'll probably, if I'm being a little critical here, okay, so I have got a good stretch on there. I could probably do with a slightly better lean forward. Maybe lean forward slightly, just slightly more. But I am pushing the hips forward well when I need to in the right parts. I'd also say head position seems fairly good. Don't know why I've got my head line pointing down there. So I'm fairly pleased with that. Okay, so let's take a look at the landing now. So landing. Okay, so I'm not too far in from my body. I'd like to be maybe just a little further underneath my body. In my head, I'm not heel striking, but the good thing about videoing yourself and taking a good look is you can see your actual form. So I'm probably landing with the heel a little too early, and ideally what I should be doing is just staying in the air a fraction longer as my body comes forward. So I land more mid-foot and front of the foot, where the foot has a lot more sensors and can react better. Okay, so landing relatively well. Now this, when I'm running like this, I'm trying to do it with as little effort as I can. I'm trying to keep relaxed. My arms are probably a little high there. Just taking a look here at this gap in the arm as it's coming back. Compare it to the other side. Can't really see it as much of a pullback on the right hand side there. We saw what that looks like frontal in a minute, but it looks like I might just be, maybe I'm just conscious that the camera's there and I may be slightly rotating to my left more. See if that's consistent. So a little bit more back on the right arm there, not too far back on the left. Possibly. It's best not to read too much into it at this stage. Let's have a look at what it is on the frontal plane coming forward. Whiz past. God, take my time. Have I gone past it? I bet I've gone past it, haven't I? There we are. Right. It'd help if I zoomed out. Okay, so let's just put this into slow motion and have a look here. So let's watch this coming forward. So nice and tall. What's going on here? Okay, so let's go back a touch. So let's look at the centre line to start with. Right, so left hand comes just into the centre line, quite tight to the body. Let's see what the right hand does. Okay, I'm a bit closer to the camera there. We'll see if it's the same when I'm back a little further. Yeah, still coming slightly across the centre line on my right hand side. Yeah, there maybe is just a slight bit of rotation going on my right shoulder there. Just staying with upper body for the minute. Yeah, left hand not quite coming across the middle. Right hand each time just seems to be crossing over. Bearing in mind, we're not always centre line as we kind of get nearer to the camera. Right, let's just look at the gap on the elbow. So on the back leg and on the landing there. So when left leg lands, look at this gap here versus when the right leg lands. This gap here. So it just looks like my left arm is actually flared out slightly more. See if that repeats itself. Left arm flared more. Coming out. Maybe. Could be reading too much into this. One thing I will say is got a nice even shoulders there as I'm doing this, and also from the front you can see that oscillation as I'm coming up more, and as I get a little bit nearer the camera you see the quad games looking strong as I'm landing there. Boom. Okay, let's have a look at the foot position now. So what's going on here then? Yeah, certainly heel striking, although if you can quite see it there, I think it looks like I'm actually just in the air a fraction of a second longer, and I'm coming down as the heel begins to make contact. So there probably is a bit more midfoot than first appears. Foot's landing fairly straightforward, pleased with that. Knees looking in good alignment. What we're not seeing is a kind of pronounced Q angle here. Got a reasonably good landing there. Knee doesn't seem to be coming too far across. Similar on this side, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah. Compare that to right, left. So landing, taking the weight. Perhaps the right knee does come in slightly more, does it? Love to hear your thoughts on this, guys. Do we think on this left leg there's less of the knee coming in than on the right leg? There. I might just be nitpicking here, I'm not sure. Okay, arms feel nice and relaxed there. Yeah, that left elbow is definitely flaring more than the right. You see the gap here on the left side compared to the right. Okay, let's have a look at rear view now. A little treat for you. Okay, it could just be the camera angle here. It's a bit of an angle. Let's have a look. So say from this angle looks like there's more flaring on the right side, but that could just be because the camera's slightly left. Gap. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at the foot landing. See what I mean? So I'm not quite heel striking as such. I'm kind of still coming down as the foot lands. Right foot looks like it's coming across more, but as I say, it could just be we're slightly off centre. Hips look nice and level. If you're wondering what this band is around my head there, it's my earphones. Ignore that. Right, let's look at this in slow motion then. See it in action. Good height. I'm fairly happy with a few things. First off, the stretch I'm getting as I kind of lengthen that stride. Stride length is about 120. I'm 6'2", so I've got a fairly good stride length. And cadence on this is around 175, which I've been working on a bit because it was averaging about 164. So it's coming on well. There's obviously still things to work on. I'm going to take a look at this a little bit more in depth because I think there's some rotation going on at the thoracic. Probably more on the right side than there is on the left. That's a fairly easy fix if it is that. Just a little bit more mobility should probably solve that. But other than that, I think it's coming on well. So there's just a few thoughts on running form. I'd love to hear your thoughts if you're a form geek. And if you're not a form geek, but you're looking to improve your form, then I hope you picked up a few bits from this video. Ask any questions if you've got them. Cheers.